Alright everyone, welcome to our Python for data analysis class. In today's class, we're going to look at how to actually create, our length of stay using the health data we have actually, been using for this particular analysis, and as well create a visual to support what it is that we have actually created. So it's something very simple. You might just need to download the dataset and follow along step by step. So let's get into the class. In the previous videos, we have actually solved from 1 to 5. That was why I made it gray like this. So currently, we're going to be dealing with this particular number 6 right here, which says, calculate the duration of each patient's stay and create a group to show numbers of patients in each group. So it's something very simple. We're going to be looking at how to solve this using Python. So fire up your Python. If you actually have Anaconda installed, this here, go ahead and search for Anaconda and click on this particular one that says Navigator. So you can actually use Google Colab to follow up, or any other platform you want to use. If you open up your Anaconda, you're going to see this particular Jupyter notebook right here. Just go ahead and launch it. So it will take you to this particular part right here. So over here in the previous video, we actually created some kind of folder inside our desktop. So if you don't have any folder here to save your project right in, just go over to this particular new, and here you create a new folder. So in our own case, we're not creating any new folder. If I scroll down, I have already a folder here, and the folder is called Python projects. So this particular Python project here, if I double click, it has it opened, and I only have health project, all two here. So I'm going to actually add a new environment here now. So click on this particular Python. All right, there you go. Right now it's called Untitled. So we can actually rename this by just typing here health. So I'm going to do O3 here. So then go ahead and save. So once I've done this now, the very first thing I have to do is to quickly read the data set, right? So over here, click on this particular code and just use Markdown and add like 3 hashes right here, then space, and type in here reading from CSV and hold the Control key to hit the Enter key. So now this will actually help you to keep your project very organized. So with the Shift Enter key, you can add multiple, cells that you want to actually use to actually get things done. Okay, over here now, I'm going to actually read my data. So the very first thing to do is to actually say import pandas as PD. So now the next thing we have to do is to actually load our data. So to load our data right now, there are several ways to do it, but let me show you another way to do it, because in the previous video, we're using different methods to do that, but we're going to use something similar now. So let us call this particular one file underscore path. So this particular file path right here, we're going to actually be bringing in our file path. Let's do that. So if you go to your download file, you're going to see this particular health dataset. Right click if you're using Windows 11. If you're using Windows 10, you can actually come here and copy path. So on Windows 11, you see a copy path right here. So we have just copied path to this particular, health dataset right now. So if we come over here right now and paste this one in. So to confirm this, if this will work, just go ahead and hold your Control key under Enter. And now you have this particular error. So if you want to actually, make sure you clear this error and make it work, you have to add 1 more backslashes to all those particular ones right here, right? So in order to avoid that, just come over here before the double quotes and just type in R. So now we can run again by clicking on this one, you run. So there is no any issue right now. So this is not going to give us anything right away. If we just try to go ahead and print this right now, it does not make any sense. So what we need to do is just to define our data frame. So df, so it's going to be equals pd dot read without space underscore csv. So and we pass in our file underscore path right in here. So confirm it, nothing happens. So let us quickly look at how we can actually print this out. Print. So we are printing the earth, and here you go. You have this showing up right here. So let us quickly look at what we have done. If you're just getting started, you might have been thinking like, what the heck are you doing? So what is this particular, PD, DAF, that is pd.read? What is it actually, doing right here? It's something very simple. So what it does is actually helping you to read the CSV file into the pandas data frame called DF. So this is our variable here. So we are reading this particular data into this particular variable, and we can reuse this particular variable over and over again. That is what we have actually used to retrieve the data in here right now. The way the data got showed up right here is not really some kind of healthy at all, so I don't like it. So what if we try to show our data just like the way Excel will display it? So we can do that right here. Let's quickly go over to here. So once we are here, click on desktop or anywhere you have the data you downloaded from me saved in. So in my own case, it's actually into this particular health dataset Python. So now you're going to see CSV here. So double click it. So now you're going to see the exact, columns that you will see if you have it opened in Excel. So you can actually make a verification of your column name or whatsoever you want to verify through here. You can actually, show by a delimiter or whatsoever it is. So we're not going to come here for anything, but we just have to come over here to understand our columns before we start doing this. So the next thing now, once we have actually done this, there is no point in showing all of this. You can actually get this off and hold your control key, hit enter. Now, what we have done is to actually get our data into Python and start manipulating it. Okay, what is the next thing right now that we need to do? So we need to go back to the question. So you can type in your question here. Just go over to code and do the markdown. Over here, we're going to do ###. So you can type in this particular one here, control enter. Now you have this to keep track of what you're doing. So right now, when we say reading from, CSV, it shows that this particular code does the work for us. So the next line of code right now, we do something different, right? So if you look at this particular part right here, so it says calculate the duration of each patient stay. So if we go over here now, so we have what we call admission date and we have discharge date. So to get the patient stay duration now, we have to subtract the discharge date from the admission date. That is exactly what is going to help us. But sometimes we might have something sitting in here like this. It will be disguised as a date, but it was stored in as a text data type. So we might want to have a precaution by going over here right now. So into a new cell, we're going to say here, convert date into proper date data type. So what we need to do right now is to actually say, okay, df, which is our data frame. Remember, this particular df helps us to actually store in our data, right? So it's a variable. So we're going to say inside this particular variable here, we have a column called admission. So it's called admission date right here. So this particular admission date right now is going to be equals. So we have a function called pd dot to underscore date time. So what this particular function does is this. It actually ensures that the accurate date is actually being stored inside that particular column. So it ensures accurate date calculations for you. So we're going to actually open a bracket here, and inside here now, we're going to type in our data frame, df here. So make sure it's on small letter. So here we have to return admission date again. So we have just done this right now for just the admission date. So remember, we're going to be working with two different dates, right? So we have to copy this and paste this right here. And now we are going to make sure, okay, this one here should actually have this single quotes surrounding it, very importantly. So we do the same thing to this particular one. But this time around, what we want to do is the second one here, we have to change the date to discharge date. So make sure it is correct. So discharge date. So how do you verify this? So go over here. That was why we have it upload here. So we have admission, we have discharged, check the spellings and make sure it is very correct. So once we have gotten this right now, we can just go ahead and confirm by hitting the control and enter. This shows that there is no any error. So we can actually come down right here now. And inside here, what we're about to do is to do what we call calculating the stay duration, right? So how do we get this calculated? We have to add a new column into our data frame, df. So how do we add this? We are going to call this one stay duration. I think stay duration has just one single R. So stay duration. So stay duration right now is our new column that is going to be adding to this particular table for us. So which might not appear here, but it will definitely help us to do or manipulate our data. So we're going to make it equals. So now we have to perform the calculation that will actually store in the values into stay duration, and that will be here df. We have to open a bracket here. Now df. So we're going to actually take our discharge date, and we come over here, we subtract df. So we subtract the admission date from it. So once we have done this and hit the enter key to confirm if there is any error. So right now it does not show us any error, but what if we try to some kind of print this right now? What it is that you're going to see. So you can just say print. So we're printing df right now. So if we print df, this is what we see. It still returns the same thing for you. So right now we can actually come over here and actually use a function called .d or t.days. So if I hit my enter key to run this right now and take a look at what we have here. So we have see here. So let's just some kind of display this particular part alone right here. So to get that done right now, we can copy this whole part right here, copy and try to some kind of show it up here. So now we have those numbers here. Can you see? So those are the numbers that will be stored into our table, but will not be visible to us right here, right? So once we have gotten this particular, number showing up right here, this is not the final junction. So we still have to do something much more better than this. So what is next? What do we do next? So right now we want to show this particular number alongside with what? Alongside with the date, admission date, and as well the discharge date. Let's see how we can do that. So over here now, you can just come over here and add inside single quotes. So come out it, comma, inside under single quote again. So over here, you put a comma on it. And if I hit my enter key right now, so I think here, yes, of course. Yes. So we have an error. So quickly we have to take a look at this. So I think this should actually be passed into another square bracket, under square bracket here. Then this will display this for us. So at default, it actually helps us to display just like 4 of them, right? So you can actually customize how many you want to see by coming over here and do dots head. So close parenthesis. So we put like just 2 over here. So it shows us just 2. You can put 20, you can put like 10 over here, you do 10, and it shows you just 10. So over here, between this particular date of admission, between 19th December to 16th of January, we have 28 days. So between 29th of March to the 21st of April, so we have 23 days right here. So you can see how it is being calculated. So this is what we need to do for the first time. So we have just gotten this right now. So the main question is actually looking at this particular calculation based on the duration of each patient. So which we have gotten right here. So we need to create a group, right? So how do we group it? So over here, we can just come over here and do this. And inside here, I'm going to do hash hash hash. So I can just call this one group. Stay duration. So now to group stay duration right now, we have to start writing new codes right here. So we trying to look at something. So the way Python works is that it's going to remember all we have done right here. We don't have to repeat this same thing we have done right here, but we're going to start getting things done from this particular last part of our code, right? So what we need to do right here right now is to actually create some kind of bins. So bin, so equals, so create a list here, and that's going to be, so I'm going to do here -1, so comma 0, so comma, so we do 3, comma 7, comma 14. So now that comma here, we do 20 and the ISO. So inside here, I'm going to do float. So open and close parentheses. Here we go. Right. So we should actually close this here. So I'll just confirm my code by just hitting the enter key, even if I'm not trying to display anything, just to run and make sure I don't run into any error, right? It's something very, very important. So this particular part here helps us to some kind of defines ranges for the stay duration. So once we have actually done this now, we have to create labels, which is what we want to display, right? Because right now, if we go ahead and see print, and we print this particular bins right here, so we don't see nothing but just what we actually typed in, which doesn't really make any sense to us. So the next thing we have to do right now is for we to create some couple of labels. So here we do label. So labels right here. So it could be anything. You can name this anything. It's just a variable that you want to start something right in. So inside here right now, we want to actually do here. So you can use double, same day. So what is this particular same day for? So for anybody who just got some kind of discharge the very day, is going to be equals to 0. So we're actually going to make sure that the people actually fall between people who left the hospital that same day. So we're going to have another, range that's going to be from 1 to 3 days right here. So can you see this now? Then we come over here again under comma. So we can actually put this into it. So just a space, this. So we do under comma again. So inside here, we're going to do from 4 to 7 days, right? So we do comma again. So inside here, we're going to do 8 to 14 days. So, and over here now, put under comma. So we're going to do above 21 days. Can you see it now? Above 21 days. So you can do the same thing you have done here now. You can just say 21 plus. You understand? 21 plus. So I think above 21 days will make a lot of sense. So 21 days right here. So this is exactly what we have actually done right here, right now. But still, does this make any sense? If we display this, what is going to happen? So it's not going to make any sense to have this particular part right here displayed. So we have to categorize patients into different buckets based on the state duration by using the bins and as well the labels we have right in here. So we have to go into the next line. So right now we're going to do the F again, which is a data frame, and we want to tell the machine that, you know what, we want to create a different column right now. So we call that column, stay bucket, right? So we're trying to actually create different buckets for it. So this particular stay bucket right now, we're going to use a function, and that function is called pd.cut. Right? So what does this particular pd.cut here, do? The pd.cut will actually help us to categorize patients into different stay buckets based on the stay duration, right? And how do we actually get this done? So we're going to say, okay, you know what? We actually have inside parentheses, we have the F or data frame, and inside it, we have this particular stay duration. So I believe you still remember this particular stay duration right here. Let's go all the way up, and over here, this is it. So in case you don't remember the correct spellings, you just have to copy and get the exact spelling right in here. So we have this particular stay duration. So this particular stay duration should be passed into single quotes right here. So now inside this, we have already created bins, right? So we are going to say comma bins equals bins, and that comma again, labels equals labels. So what are we doing? Can you remember this particular bins here and this labels right here is what we have actually used right here right now. And again, I'm going to put my comma here and actually use the right equals true. So if I use this particular small letter true here, it's not going to work. But let us try to see if this is true. So now I'm going to go ahead and some kind of run this. When I run this now, it says invalid syntax. So PD cut. So I think right now it's trying to tell me that something is wrong with this. So what is actually wrong with this? The first thing is for you to look at the kind of error, Python gives you. It has an arrow pointing to this particular side. So if you look at it in detail, we created this variable, and we actually say we are storing a new column, and that new column, we use this to actually evaluate what we want to be stored into this particular stay bucket. So anytime you actually create a variable, you must actually use this particular equal sign. That was what was not there. So now if I run this now, I'm going to run into the main problem. So over here, look at this. It says name true is not defined. That was because we're actually using normal true, and this true is looking at it as if it's a variable. It's not a variable. It's going to be this logical part here. So use the capital letter true, and now here you go. So it comes up again with a different error. So now bins labels must be one fewer than the number of bins edges. So let us look at this quickly. So we are using 0, 3, 7, 14, 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you look at this now, the error says bin labels must be one fewer than the number of bin edge right here. Sometimes you learn from errors, right? From mistakes than just having it right. So I can do it and run this code and it will run fine. You wouldn't actually have any issue. So you'll be thinking like, this guy is good. But sometimes if I actually allow it to run into errors, I'll show you how to solve it. In case you're actually writing your code and you run into something like this, you quickly go down and look at this particular value error right here. So what is going on right now? What it says is this. If you check out here now, it starts from -1. We count from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 bins right here. The labels now is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 right here. So we must actually make sure this one gives us 5. Otherwise, we have to remove 1 from here to have equal numbers right here. So I'm going to take off 20 from here and see if that solves the problem. So if I take off 20 right now, the numbers I have right here now is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So from same day is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let us run this and see. Now it works. This is exactly what we are looking forward to seeing. If I go down right here right now, I think here, this is it. I have this over here. Stay bucket above 21. Can you see? Okay, this is not everything we need to actually do. So right away, we just want to calculate the numbers of patients, that we have on each. So we have created the grouping now. This is group stay duration. So we have grouped it right here. So we can just show the group alone by coming over here now. We do so stay bucket here. So we just show the groups alone here. Okay. So once we have done the grouping, the next thing now is for we to come over here and do this again. So inside here now, we're going to do okay, now we have this. To actually get numbers of patients on each groups, what we need to do right now is to just do simple calculation right here. So we are going to actually do, I think we have to create a new variable. So total patients. So our df, so inside our df we have stay bucket. That was the last column we added. So this particular stay bucket right here is what we are going to use. So I'm going to just do stay bucket here. So this particular stay bucket, I'm going to do dot value underscore count. So I think it counts. So we do open and close parentheses. So if we go down now, we can actually say print our new total group patient right here. So if I print this one now, so stay single quote should actually be what I used over here. So now can you see it now? So those are patients under above 21. So on the same day, there are no people or no patients discharged on the same day. Can you see this now? We don't have any patient some kind of discharged on the same day. So that is why we're having 0 right here. Okay, so once we have done this now, we can actually add a new cell to this, and we'll quickly do this to keep this clean. So we can actually say okay, we need to create chart to have it visualized right now. To get that done is something very simple. We have to quickly do import Matplotlib library here dot pyplot. So as plt. So now we come over here. So here is the last variable created, which is this particular variable here. total group patients. You can name it anything you like, but just try to remember what you have named it, right? So we do dot plot, open, kind equals br, that is bar rather. So comma, so we set the color. So let's set the color to anything we like. But right now, let's say we don't have any color in mind and you want to get color. So you just do equals and you open this here where your color passed through. So inside double quotes or inside single quotes. So we can come over here now and search for color. We can do Adobe or color.adobe.com. So what we're going to use now is to actually copy color code to actually get this done. So you can see at default, we have some couple of colors, here. You can search for any color, you mix it up all by yourself, right? But we can use any of these particular colors we have right here, right now. Let me use from here. So I'm going to copy this particular color code. Just click on copy. So we have just copied it. Once you click on it, then we come over here and paste in our color code into here. And this is exactly what we actually need to do. So once we have done this right now, we can actually hit our enter key by holding our control key. So it will create the chart for us. So if you look at it, we have our chart right here. So remember, you can decide to define the height and the weight of your chart, which we're going to be looking at in our next video to come. But right now, this is what we have. Our chart does not have any title right now. So what if we want to actually add title to our chart? So let me make it smaller. So can you see what we have here now? So we have above 21 days. So 8 to 14 days, 4 to 7 days, 1 to 3 days, and the same day is not actually here. So you can filter away what is giving you blank. So I'm not going to talk about that in this video. In my subsequent videos to come, I'm going to show you how to filter away what you don't need to see, because right now this is not making any sense, right? So now, once we have this, the next thing we have to do is to actually make sure we have a title for our chart. Let's go down here. We can actually say plt.title, and inside it, we just do total patients by the length of stay. So can you see it now? Total patients by length of stay. So this is all you need to know. It's something very simple. All you have to do is to make sure you practice and actually encounter the same error I willingly encountered, just to make sure we some kind of understand what to be done and why most of those functions should actually be used and how you can actually remember them. So this will definitely help you on how to actually use Python to solve data problem. So we have just actually done this right now. In case you want to take a look at the previous videos before this one, just click on the playlist or go through the description box. You're going to see the links for the previous videos, and you can learn Power BI, Excel, dashboard from me as well. So see you in my next videos.